home media.
Calling all Patriots. We are back in the studio for episode 6 of Clump of Cells. How's everybody? Real quick, we're just the elephant in the room, Jared Peterson. He's no longer on this show. We had a huge blow up.
He died. He actually died.
Private chat, and then he died. No, he lives in Anadarko, Oklahoma, and they got hit with quite a bit of snow. It was like yesterday that they got hit, but his whole well, his internet is basically being powered by a hamster on a wheel in the first place, but that hamster for sure did die. But yeah, we know Jared tonight as his he has no sights. But welcome to the show, Jeff Kinney. How you feeling tonight, buddy?
I'm feeling fucking good, man. Just been chasing 2 little kids around and putting a water heater in today. So yeah, just ready to get this on.
Dude, Jared put a water heater in.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking weird. Like I had to do mine today too, and I sent you guys that video.
Yeah, I don't check our group chat anymore. That's that's a fucking. Ever since Kent joined, it's just like a cesspool of fucking. Hey, Route, how are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. Feeling funky, feeling fresh, feeling fine. I wanted to say it's Saturday night, but it's only Friday night, so.
We might need to move this show to Saturday night so everybody's off the next day.
I like
we're gonna start the show soon. I do want to check in with my buddy Brandon Smith, Fat Stradamus. Real quick, last week me and Brandon did a video chat off air, and he was telling me about his new toy. Brandon, talk a little bit about your ability to record videos and pictures with your eyeballs now.
Sure.
You got to put them on.
I'll do that. Let me put them on. I didn't know you were going to be bringing them up.
Glasses.
The weirdest thing in the world has been the past couple of weeks me saying, hang on, I need to charge my glasses.
What?
Not so I can see so much, but just so I can talk to Facebook, and Facebook knows everything that's going on. Well, I mean, Meta knows everything that's going on with my life. So, yeah, these things are amazing. I love them. I'm actually incorporating into the new TBG fishing video. I have a whole segment where I catch a fish. Well, with the Ray-Ban Metas, like it's all filmed with only that. So like, it's pretty dope, man. Like they're pretty cool. Like it records up to 3 minutes worth of video. I can go live on Facebook. I actually went live on Facebook when I was frying up the crappie that I caught last time. And so you can go like live on Facebook. I can video chat with you guys on through these. Like you can see the POV as I'm walking around doing whatever. So I might actually hit you guys up while I'm at Disney. I might go live while I'm at Disney for like 30 minutes or so while I'm like walking around doing rides and stuff. So
that is too cool, man.
But the like that's like one part of it. And it's got speakers in it, right? So I'm listening to music. I'm talking on the phone. It's got 4 microphones on it. And the coolest part about it, though, is that you literally you can ask it anything in the world you want to ask it, and it'll answer your question for you. Like I was standing in O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and I've got that old 9.9 Johnson 80s Evinrude outboard motor, right? It's 2-stroke. I don't really mess with 2-stroke too much. I know you got to mix fuel and the gas because it doesn't have a separate thing. I don't know the fuel ratio for an 80s model 9.9 horsepower Johnson Evinrude. Who the fuck keeps that in there? So I'm like, hey, what's the fuel ratio? Like, oh, it's 50-1. I'm like, okay, well, I got 6 gallons. How many ounces do I need for 6 gallons? It's like, oh, you need X amount of ounces. I was like, okay, cool. So I can buy this and do it twice. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fast. I don't have to ask somebody, especially if you have like social anxiety where you don't feel like bothering the person behind the counter. Just come answer your stupid little question. You know what I mean? They're great. That and like, I don't know, everyday use.
Do you send text? Just like, can you send a text?
Yeah, you can send a text. I can start a phone call, all that stuff.
You just
See, to me, like, it's amazing because, like, I told Stephanie, like, you should never text and drive. Sometimes you have to, but like, I've noticed, like, if I'm in like a situation where I shouldn't text, it's almost like my phone knows it and it makes it harder to text, or maybe I'm making shit. But it's like, to me, weird. Don't text and drive, but it's kind of hard to if you have a life or a job, you kind of have to do stuff while driving. It's great that you have like so I know, do you basically just say, hey, META, because I don't want to, you just say that, like, start recording and stuff like that, just basically just that's how you get your videos and pictures?
The newest feature that it has for like the beta testers or whatever for it that they send out, it's easy to become the early access program. You just give them your email address and they send you early access stuff. So like the newest thing is live translation. Like I know you've seen like on TikTok where they have like the earbuds that you pop in, it'll live translate. Well, I can just start that, just say, hey, live translate Spanish to English. And it'll like, boom, it'll just start doing it. I've stood in line behind people at the gas station, just curious. And I said it, and it was just like, boop, and it was live translating in my ear what they're talking about. I mean, nothing important, a lot of cussing, but it's just cool, man. Like like I could use it for my job, but I just refuse to, just out of principle. Like I'm just not, you know what I mean? But it's fun though. It's a lot of fun. I love
Brandon's a fucking cyborg. He's the first.
Yeah, no shit.
Here's the thing is like, I had the conspiracy side of me too, where like, I'm just letting them into my life. But the truth is they've already had that access anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's just like, they're being more like, they just got creative with your cell phone, right? They were using the camera on your cell phone and the microphone on your cell phone and all that stuff before. Now they're just like, hey, I wonder how stupid they are. Can we get them to wear it on their face so we can see everything they're seeing all the time?
Yep.
And can we get them to ask us questions and treat them like a friend? So we can just talk to them and get them to share everything with, like, dude, it's seriously, you think you have like a friend on your face. It's nuts. It's really kind of crazy. And the thing is it's not, they're expensive, but they're not that expensive. Like if I was to say something like that to you, like I'm wearing like intelligent glasses on my face, I can ask them anything in the world and it'll give me an answer to it. There's a really good chance it's the right answer too. So like, you would think you'd spend like a lot of money on these things. I mean, with my prescription in them, I was under $300.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like you could go get a set of Ray-Ban Wayfarer frames with your prescription in it. You're going to spend $500. These are Ray-Ban Wayfarers, but they're just the metal ones. And they work great.
Technology's rad until you like whenever the Wise cams came out, we installed a bunch outside and we installed one in our living room. And I accidentally recorded myself jerking off one time, and that was the scariest goddamn thing I've ever seen. Rest in peace to our good friend Jared Peterson. He died of AIDS. We're not 100% sure how he contracted it.
He actually got a bad blanket, and it had SARS on it. SARS-CoV-2.
Jesus Christ.
Oh shit!
Small one though, not the large COVID.
Now he really is gonna quit the goddamn show.
Right. Shit, dude. That nothing I've ever fucking said.
He's got a dark sense of humor and knows where it's coming from. So
he's got a dark sense of humor. Is that a joke too? All right, that's enough. All right. We're watching Clump of Cells.
We love you, Jared.
Topics. We'll be right back after this.
Segment 1. Freedom of speech. It's a thing. Should Americans be allowed to say whatever they want? Sure. But should the rest of us be allowed to hit you with a sock full of nickels? Is this a thing we need to legislate or just let the public regulate?
Rowdy Radloff, we'll go to you first. I am somebody who I really do think freedom of speech is wonderful. I don't think you should censor literally anything. Because I feel like once you censor people, you give people a chance to lie to you. If somebody's willing to speak abrasively and say certain things and say certain ideals and say things that might get their nose broken if they say it in front of the wrong, person or group of people, I think that I'm more than willing to have anybody tell me exactly who they are through the words that they choose. And then what are your thoughts on obviously Facebook? a lot of social media. X has been a lot better since Elon got it as far as fighting for the actual freedom of speech. What are your thoughts on policing the way Americans talk?
Yeah, uh, we can't do that. We cannot block how people. For one thing, we don't give too much power to words. You know, they're just, at the end of the day, they're still words. They can't hurt you. I know some people, they mentally maybe can't withstand certain words, but at the end of the day, they're fucking words. But we have to be able to speak freely, because you need to be able to know who's an idiot and who's not. So if you let everybody talk and debate and say their point of views, then we can decide and we can listen, and you can pick which side you want. If you silence one side and you only get one side or one opinion, you're going to be swayed that way. So you need to have free thought. You have to have free speech. You have to have free debate, or that's like we have to have that in order to be like to continue to evolve. If not, you're swayed one way or another. That's how deep freedom of speech is. It goes. It's so important, and that's why it was one of the again biggest things that was our forefathers had when we created this country. Is that you know that was their first thing is you need to be able to have free speech, and the internet is fucking crazy. You know, it's the Wild West. We don't know how it's policed. You know, my brother said to me one day, he's like, "Yeah, the government needs to needs to control the internet. They need to block the internet and you know, when people say things that are like, you know, misinformation and shit, the government should be blocking that." I'm like, who in the government should be in control of that? He's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, it's a person, so they could decide whatever they want to block or what they accept. Like, you got to be able to see everything. He couldn't understand. He couldn't see like my point of view on it, and it was fuck. I couldn't believe that. Like, you can't let the government control the fucking internet. Like, censorship is never the fucking key. You know, we cannot censor. You know, I understand, like, there's ways to put things so that certain people shouldn't be able to see this, or you have to, you know, accept something or check it in order to see like gruesome stuff or something like that. But as far as free speech, we can't censor people's speech unless you're threatening. You know, if you're threatening someone's life or, you know, doxing them, you know, go to their house and fucking you're gonna kill them or something like that, or you know, that kind of shit's you can't do that. That's still it's just like if you in reality if you walked up to somebody. But other than that, you know, you gotta let someone say what they want to say.
Going to Brandon Smith, what are your thoughts on you grew up in the South? I spent some time in the South. I literally grew up in Kansas where I only had like literally one black friend all throughout school. And never really met a lot of black people. Moved to North Carolina. There's a lot of black people. I found a lot of white people used a lot of no nice words, but then they would listen to 50 Cent and they would talk black and they would act black. It was like I couldn't tell. I mean, I knew that there was something that wasn't quite like A-okay. I didn't know if it was racism, hatred, or if it was the appropriation that I saw. But what are your thoughts? You being like, you know, you're the only one in here in the deep South where it's nasty. What have you kind of seen as far as people saying words and then other people in the room not being okay with it? Like, do you feel like our species is good at policing ourselves with what's okay to say in certain situations?
Well, first off, welcome to the hypocrisy of the South, right? We'll tell you that we hate, and then we'll consume what we tell you that we hate. That's all we do. That's it. And then as far as appropriation of it, it's I mean, growing up around all this shit, it's a big mind fuck, especially when you're a little kid. You're like, you know, because kids are born innocent, right? The kids see another kid, they're like, hey, I wonder if that kid wants to play. They don't give a fuck about anything else, right? That's it. So you're taught these things, or you learn them socially, right? Like, or you form your own opinions based on things that you see based on your life's journey, right? So, but in the South here, it's even if you're raised to not be that way, you're around it. And I don't think that's any different than anywhere else. It might just be more pronounced here in the South because it's the South. But yeah, definitely, dude. And then you walk into like places looking like I do, you go hang out with other white dudes, and they're just dropping N-bombs left and right and thinking they're okay with it, not knowing that my father-in-law is black. You know what I mean? Like, they have no clue that every holiday I spend, that one of the nicest people in my life who's taking care of me. Actually, my wife's car was breaking down. Her alternator went out. Like, we just bought the car not long ago, and we had the trip to Disney, right? This was before Christmas. We just spent all the money on the trip. We spend money on Christmas. And, I told him, I was like, hey, I'm bringing Jenny's car up there because he works up at the dealership. And he called me a couple hours later. He goes, it's this, this, and this. I've already taken care of it. Don't worry about it. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's nuts to me that you can stand in a room with people, you don't know anything about them, anything like that, and just start being openly, blatantly racist with things. And it's not even against black people. It's against Hispanic people, Asian people. You hear it all over the time, all over the place. It is mostly black people in the South, though, that people hate around here. I don't really see a whole lot of hate for Hispanic people. There is some, but I don't see it as much.
Yeah, you might check on that. I don't, something my kid just dropped. Doc, you good? Okay, my kid just dropped something, so I wanted to make sure he didn't fall over and die. Basically, I just heard like a dunk dunk. Yeah, I really do think. Well, let's go to Jeff first, and I'll kind of go. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this whole like subject? As far as, to me, when they deplatformed and canceled, and we all know that canceled means just being frozen out of the collective market, basically. When they canceled Alex Jones and deplatformed him, I will, in the same breath, say Alex Jones is probably mentally retarded. But at the same time, I think that if I am told that I'm not allowed to listen to Alex Jones, I think that means whoever's saying I'm not allowed to listen to Alex Jones thinks that I'm retarded, like that I'm incapable of listening to somebody and not under. But Jeff, can you go ahead and talk a little bit about freedom of speech? And I think this was your topic you wanted to talk about, so go ahead.
We were founded with that idea of freedom of speech. Now, I know a lot of people on the left will say, well, that was meant for, white, aristocratic men, it was different for minorities and stuff like that. And granted, yeah, history sucks. Okay. Like, we can't ever judge people that lived 200 years ago by the standards of today. It's impossible because they lived in a completely different time with a completely different mindset. That being said, I do believe that freedom of speech is the foundation of this country. This is why we have a great country, because we're able to share ideas the way that we do. You don't really see the government tamp down on speech as much as you see like in the social realm. And just for the smallest things, what my fear is that we're the breakdown of the debate, right? I heard someone say, could have been on the show, and I don't really remember, my brain's too many drugs, too much fog. But someone said, well, I'm not sure I would want to go on a podcast with someone that had my kind of views. It's like, well, I get that, but why do we need to have this thing where we can only sit in each other's echo chambers? That scares me more than anything else. Any kind of laws, any kind of legislation, that the fact that we're just sitting in our own echo chambers, bouncing ideas, the same ideas back and forth. And it just makes us more polarized. We have to have left and right talk it out. That's what gives the argument, and that's where we get our consensus from. Just having me talk to another Trump supporter, that's not making either of us any smarter. We're just saying, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you too. And it scares me that someone that would say, because I am a right winger, that it's hate speech, And like Raud said, a lot of what you say, dude, is absolutely 100% correct. Let's say we did legislate, right? Let's say we did legislate speech. Well, it's all groovy when it's your guy in charge, right? And he's doing all the fucking laws that you want. But what happens when that guy leaves and it's the next guy that has a complete different opinion about that, right? You're giving all this power to the government. Government never gives it back. Once they get power, they keep it. They're not going to be like, oh, that was just for a temporary measure and we'll just give it back. and that's really my fears is we're getting to a place where we just all want, everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to be right. We can't disagree anymore. Everyone has to have the correct opinion. And if your opinion is not my opinion, then I don't want to listen to you, or I'm not going to have you on my podcast, or I'm going to deplatform you. It's just insanity to me. And that's the stuff that I'm scared of the most in this hate speech stuff. It terrifies me, man. And we really gotta be open to all discussion. And another thing I was thinking of when Raul was talking is that when you silence someone's speech on one side, it just makes someone want to listen to them more, right? It's like a kid, you make a rule and say you can't do this. Well, it just makes me want to listen to it more. When you say, I can't have Nazi speech around, well, that just makes people want to be Nazis more. It's just human nature. So that's all.
Kent, do you want to add anything to this? I mean, you're usually the turd in the punch bowl, like it says. I think you're all wrong. What are your thoughts on? Because like this is one thing. Me and Norm interviewed a lady who was really smart a couple years ago, and she said something that I thought was very profound. She said it matter of factly. She basically said that the job of the media in modern day is to persuade, not inform. I think that's very goddamn scary. But I think a lot of that has to do with freedom of speech in the sense of what verbiage is okay to use. It's not even like racial stuff, just like what political trigger words are we allowed to use today? Can't talk a little bit about if you think it's an overstepping of like basically parenting our language in this country.
Overstepping of, I don't know, I don't. Free speech is, it applies to government, and journalism and what you can write about our government and things. And private entities, I think, you lose your freedom of speech. As if you work for a corporation doing podcasts like this, you could be fired for the things that you say or the things that you post on Facebook. So you really don't have.
I'm fucked.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're lucky because you're self-employed. Yeah, I mean, but you could still drive away business for the things that you say. So
That's
you're really
right.
not free to say.
I mean, you have a good point.
You want to, So it's kind of an illusion and it's a non-starting argument. But as far as so when you sign up for terms and service for a company, if I own a company and I don't want you to say something, it's my fucking company. You can't say what I don't want you to say on my shit. You know what I mean? So fuck off. You don't have that right on my platform. So, but things bother me about it, like increased misinformation, political bias. By limiting fact checkers, you could become echo chambers for people just to go on and on. And it's kind of what we're seeing with Twitter right now. You're seeing people leave it in droves. And it's predominantly right-wing nature right now. That's the folks that are on that and posting. And,
I agree with you
100%. Then you start questioning everything, So it's just, I don't know.
You should question everything, Ken.
Listen, I agree with you 100%. Can't except for I think that it is a non-issue in a sense where it doesn't need. In my opinion, it doesn't need any kind of legislation because, like you just said, we all sit here and even the most patriot of patriot says that they never want to live in a socialist society. They never want to live in. But if you go to work, like you have a dictator, anybody that has a job that they don't work for themselves, you have a dictator, you have all kinds of shit that you just like, well, yeah, at work, I'll put up with it. But at the end of the day,
insurance,
if somebody says something on social media or in public and they're recorded, they're probably gonna if Raud is not into censorship, but if a guy who's out there with his company's shirt on and is out there working for Raud and he gets filmed dropping all kinds of racial slurs, it might make sense for Raud to distance himself from that guy because he's got to feed his fucking. It doesn't mean that Raud being okay with freedom of speech doesn't mean you're okay with every word that's said, but I feel like it's like that posse comitatus shit we talked about before the show. I don't think you need to legislate freedom of speech, it'll work itself out in the wash. If somebody says something that's arrogant and awful, and it could potentially harm somebody's business, they're probably going to lose their job. They're probably going to lose some friends over it. You know, I think the people will kind of police themselves in that situation.
I mean, in my opinion, dude, like when you, like you said, Kent, when you have, let's say you have some kind of a Facebook or something like that, right? And you make some rules to say, here's what the speech guideline is. The only problem with that is that sounds good, but when you get into the public platform like that, you become like a public circle. You become, and I get what you're saying. Believe me, I understand legality wise, like, yeah, that makes sense. But when you step into the public circle and you're making yourself a public arena, I think Elon Musk understands that more than anybody else, that Twitter is a public arena. Yes, there might be some stuff said that triggers people, but you know what? Like, that's life, dude. That's like, people are going to say shit to you that you don't like. And the fact that we got people picking up their ball and running back home, I don't want to play this game. It scares me that you can't take words, that it's that fucking, it's that detrimental to you where someone says something and you can't handle it. So you got to run away. That scares me more than anything else. Sometimes you got to stand in the fire and get burned. It's just the way human nature is. Bye, Alex.
Love you, Alex, man. Get some rest,
man.
buddy. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. We got to get on to the next topic, but I'll just say
I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Elon Musk is not some crazy First Amendment like crusader, like he's saving something. He bans anybody that talks shit on him. He demonetizes them. He does the same thing on his own platform. He demonetized Laura Loomer for a little while, and she's like super MAGA queen because she trashed him out. So he's not like this great savior. He's doing the same thing. I just wanted to put that.
I will agree with that. Like I think, and again, I believe in freedom of speech. I don't want anybody to be censored. But I think that everybody in here, that doesn't mean that all of us are able to see, like, all of us could see something in writing on social media posted by somebody we know, and it could fuck us up, fuck our day up, because it could hit really close to home for all of us have different triggers. But at the end of the day, I still stand by, I 100% prefer people to speak how they speak at all times when they're around me, because I don't want to waste 6 years of my life hanging out with somebody not knowing who the fuck they are. We'll be right back after this.
Segment 2. Killing is bad, right? So we punish it by killing? Makes total sense. Is that sane? Probably not. Is it worse than locking someone in a box forever? Who's to say? Both sound pretty mean to me.
Connor Oberst from Broad Eyes once said in a lyric, "We can take eye for an eye until nobody can see, and then stumble blindly forward, repeating history." Fat Jesus, what are your thoughts on revenge on a lethal level?
Revenge on what? Just in general?
No, just like the death penalty. The state, like this, when the state takes, like, say, so they kill an inmate. The state basically is taking revenge on somebody. They broke the law. They did something all of us say is bad, and your punishment for killing somebody is we're going to kill you. I mean, it's kind of odd to punish somebody for doing something with exactly what they did. Like, what are your thoughts on the death penalty? For it, against it? What are your thoughts?
I don't really know on that one. You know what I mean? Like, I can see both sides of this. I see the Bible side of it, the eye for an eye. You know what I mean? But that also leaves everybody blind, right? I also believe in second chances for people. I believe in second, third, fourth chances for people. I believe if you're willing to make a change in your life, you might not get it right the first time, right? So people change now. And then the other part of this, the other side of this, is our court systems aren't perfect, so you're going to have people who get locked up for these quote unquote horrific things they're going to get put to death for that they're innocent of, they didn't do. And then the even more shitty thing is that you'll have these people have like the Innocence Project work with them get them cleared of this shit, and then the attorney generals or whatever will just dismiss that and just be like, nah, I'm not letting them out. So it's just a fucked up system. These people lose years and years and years of their lives over a lie that somebody told, right? And then they get nothing when they get out. They come out to a world that's completely different from when they went in. So I don't know. The whole court system and jail system's all fucked. What we put people in jail for is all for profit any fucking way. So I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing really fucking matters. But I don't know. It's all fucking nuts. I hate it all. it's all nuts. But the death penalty in general, like, I get it. You know, I do. I understand it. And if something happened in my uncle got attacked. He was attacked outside. I was in middle school, maybe high school. My uncle owed a drug dealer $60, and they sent him inside a gas station to grab some beer. And when he came back out, they hit him inside the head with a tire iron and cracked his skull in a rainbow shape from his temple all the way up and back to back here. Totally changed who my uncle was. Completely changed the man. Totally changed
Did he
him.
have gold? Did he have gold on the back of his head?
No.
No.
It's
fucking rainbow.
Later, Alex.
Later, Alex, man. Take care.
So yeah, no, I can see, like, you know, if they would have taken his life, you know, the anger side of me comes out, and that side of me, the side I'm trying to get over as I get older, comes out, and I'm like, yeah, death penalty, that motherfucker, right? But at the same time, there's also, you can't just be that person all the time. So it's just kind of crazy to me that we are willing to just put people to death. But if it's something that's absolute, I mean, and it has to be like absolute, man. It's even that's hard because, like I said, the court system's fucked. So the revenge side of it, like legal revenge, like, oh yeah, well, if you murdered my kid, you're gonna get the death penalty. I don't think you would make it there if you murdered my kid. I would be the one on trial. You know what I mean? Like, there would be nobody else to defend you because you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be there to defend yourself. But you know, and then at that point, then would I be put to death? You know what I mean? I killed a man. I killed the man that killed my kid. You know what I mean? So what is it then? Then you go to the jury of your peers, right? Rather be, was it carried by 6 or judged by 12, and rather be carried by 6 than judged by 12 or some shit like that?
Other way around, but yeah, same. Yeah, same. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, judged by 12, carried by 6, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Jeff Kenny, what are your thoughts on it? You're a biblical guy. You what are your thoughts on? It'd be like if one of your sons hit your other son and you walked over and said, "Hey, we don't hit," and then you punched him in the face. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on the death penalty when you really break it down?
100% against it. Why that is, it's the same reason I'm against abortion. I just don't think that we need to be the final judge and jury of a life. I can't condone it. I can't condone the government saying, hey, you die. Whatever they did, it is heinous, and I understand that. And I'm also, against blood feuds where, like Brandon was talking about, this person does this and I do this and back and forth, and then that's what we make the legal system for, is to stand in the place of that, so it doesn't just go back and forth and never end. But I am so uncomfortable, and I'm glad you brought up the Innocent Project, Brandon. Is that these guys, I think they're doing God's work. Some people do go on death row and they've done nothing wrong, especially in the South, in states like Mississippi, where you get these overzealous. I mean, look at the West Memphis 3, dude. Those kids were on death row, man, for nothing, and these people are on death row, dude. And these overzealous attorney generals are just like, no, we got to kill them. Like, what is about that where it's like, you have been found innocent, there's enough evidence to overturn it, but you got some guy that's been in a chair for 10 years that just will not stop until someone dies. And I just see that as just barbaric and wrong. And I just don't think, the government needs to be in the business of killing anybody. Put them in jail, do what you got to do. And that's pretty much it.
Rowdy Radloff.
Okay, I'm going to be a little bit different than everybody here. I think we should kill more motherfuckers. I think we need to bring back public hangings. I think you should have
punishment.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think kids should be watching this shit, but I think if you just think you start hanging motherfuckers in the town square again that get out of line or fucking, like serious crimes. I mean, like a child molester or something like this, But hang them, fucking, or shoot them, put them against a wall and shooting squad, just fucking fire them. I think we need more of that. I think that I do agree that there are a lot of people that our justice system is fucked. So there's a lot of innocent people that get put on death row or get life sentences, which is fucked up. But I think that we're soft. We're really soft. We need to.
I see
we
that.
Need to step it up a little bit.
I see the argument.
I think if
for
we
that.
do that, we could. I just think if you see that, what happens. You know that you're not going to go through a fucking court and all this shit. Like, dude, we fucking. I mean, you still got to you got to give them a fucking trial or at least But I think that we need to. We need to do what we got to do sometimes, and some people
It's
just
like
do
if
not
you
deserve
see
to
it,
live.
you're less likely. You're like, okay, I know that
Yeah.
person happened to that person, right? It's
Scared
like the
straight.
video I
Scared
sent
straight.
the group chat of and I think it's gone actually viral now. I think it's actually very viral now, where the Ukrainian and the Russian soldier were fighting each other with knives,
Yeah.
almost to the death. Like, if you think you want to fight over politics, you think you want to go up and take arms against your neighbor, you think you want to do that, watch that video.
Yeah.
That, my friend, that is war. That is what that is. So I see your argument with the capital punishment, showing these people like, hey, that's what it is. But it's kind of I kind of agree with Jeff in that sense. And I know this is like, I don't, we disagree technically on abortion stuff. I kind of agree with you here. I don't think the government has any right to say any shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's sketchy. It's a little like, we're all like, I think we all are like less government, less power for government over our lives, right? Like, that's a lot of power.
Yeah. That's
But
the ultimate power.
Then again, the conspiracy side of me is like, I would rather them do it in my face than just take us out in quiet, because they'll do it if they want to.
True.
Yes, it will.
True. It's very true.
Any thoughts on death penalty?
I think it's necessary. I don't know. I believe in rehabilitation if the crime fits, but if they're not any good to society, there's no point in keeping them around.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, but what about like who gets to say that though, man? Like I don't
if
know.
They're guilty without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you know what I mean?
Okay, Jeff, real quick. Like, so
You let them vote on their smartphone.
One thing, kind of what Raud said, like I think if you did that, you would actually get what you want, Jeff. I think that if you started killing people like crazy, people might stop doing shit that you get killed for. I think that the outcome of it would be what you kind of want. But whenever I go to those trials for this missing mom case, the main thing I take away from it, every time I go to those trials, they have 3 prosecutors come in. And they're just 3 guys. They take shits, they eat breakfast, they have their personal lives. But all I see, and nobody really pays attention, but all I see is 3 dudes who really, really want to kill some people. They want to kill 5 people really bad. Because at the end of the day, like at the last trial I went to, I didn't know. I knew everybody kind of knew what happened. Nobody knew the gory details. Long story short, the grandma that kind of was the ringleader, after the 2 women were laying there dead and she didn't touch a single person, and she had convinced 4 other people to do her. She wanted that girl dead so bad, and the other girl just happened to be there. She was just wrong place, wrong time. She started like laughing hysterically and like walking around the bodies and looking up and laughing hysterically. Jeff, I'm with you, man. I wish, I think you have to shoot that lady in the face, bro. I don't think you can rehabilitate a lady who got, like, like you think of like a 60s fucking crime show where the evil boss is laughing because he just got $100 million. It's like, I don't think I care to rehabilitate somebody who convinced 4 people to stab 2 women to death viciously and then laugh hysterically like she had got what she wanted. You know what I mean? Like, and especially like, I didn't know these 2 girls that got killed at all. Never met them at all in my life. I want those 5 people. I would be, I'm not saying I would be okay with those 5 people getting killed by the state, because that's just gross, man. Like, they killed 2 women that had kids for what? the people that actually killed her for what? Because you're dumb and some lady told you to. And
Well,
you don't have any
that's how I think it should be for sure.
like I'm
Have
with you,
case by
Jeff.
case
I
basis.
really do want to see the good in everybody, but I mean, but there's just certain things that I think I will never say that you will lose your salvation through like God. Maybe you are redeemable through God, but I don't think you can regain your earthly human brotherhood salvation. I don't think God gave us the parts to look past somebody that laughed hysterically after murdering two moms, you know? Like I don't think God gives many people the compassion to be like, well, let's give them another shot. You know what I mean? I think most people are just like, I got some money. You want to get some bullets? And like, do the cop just want to shoot him here? And like it's weird, you know.
I mean, I'm
Well,
not
also
talking
on
against incarceration. I agree with incarceration. I'm not saying don't put them behind bars and keep wild animals away. I'm just saying like the
Why?
final
The tax,
judgment
the tax
of
we have to pay
death.
for that.
That's another thing. Yes,
That's
another
a
thing
good
is
point. That's a good point.
Norm is kind of hit the nail on the head. Norm said if he ever got in trouble, he would rather them kill him because the thought of life in a cell is like that's the definition of hell to him. So he would rather. So really, like a lifetime in a box that you're never going to get out of can wreak some severe psychological damage to somebody, and really fuck with them more than There's today. I was sitting on the side of the road with no gas for an hour and 20 minutes, and he didn't want to be here.
No
anymore.
Pizza Hut.
I mean, no Pizza Hut, dude. No fucking Pizza Hut. All right, I got 2 more seconds. We'll be right back after this.
Segment 3, affirmative action. Great on paper, but favoring someone out of guilt, does that really land the right person in the job? And who enjoys a win that feels like charity? Racism, hard or soft, pick your flavor.
When I said the racism hard or soft, I do think that either way you look at it, if you're against affirmative action because you feel like like you're like, oh, it's just taking away jobs. I can see how somebody can call that racist. But if you're handing jobs out to people because of what color their skin is, that's something called soft racism. And as somebody who has dark complected skin, not very much, but I'm half Mexican, I find it more offensive. Like we were talking earlier with the freedom of speech, I find it more offensive when people are being nice to me because they feel like I'm not worth a shit because of my skin color. I would rather somebody come up and call me a beaner. That way I kind of just know out front that they feel a certain type of way of how my skin looks. We'll go to our resident racist, Jeff Kenny, affirmative action. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I'm just gonna look worse and worse as the fucking minutes go by. Okay. I think it's a no-brainer. I'm against it. And I just think because we live in a society, it works when the best man gets the job. Now you can say, well, you got to give a fair shake to those that have been downtrodden. And I get that, man. I look, if affirmative action actually worked in its implementation, I would say fine. That's fine. Do what you got to do. But for the government to step in and say, no, we're going to have this many people in this, and it kicks out qualified candidates. I want when I'm in a hospital bed and I got a surgeon operating on me, I want the absolute best surgeon I can get. I don't want someone there because of whatever government's freaking law put him there, right? And I'm not saying that happens all the time. And I do think that we need to give something. I maybe not affirmative action, but some way for African Americans and other minorities to be able to rise above, right? But I think that's I think that's a self-implementation thing, where each community has to rise above. And this whole like charity thing, I think you're right, Derek. I think it's more racist to say, you need our help. You can't do it by yourself. So you need our help to go from this level to this level. And yeah, so I'm dead set against affirmative action. It's actually unconstitutional now when it comes to education. So, hey, thank God Supreme Court. But, I just think that merit has to win at the end of the day. So.
Yeah.
And Jeff or Route? I mean, Brandon or Route? Anybody want to go next?
I don't know enough. I mean, of course I know about affirmative action, but it's like it never affected me. So I've never had like a real hardcore opinion one way or another on it. But Being said, I do believe that the job should go to the best qualified person, right? But if you peel that layer back, right? Because that's very superficial, best qualified person, right? Well, what's the background of these people? Where do they come from? Where did they grow up? What kind of system were they born into? Was so I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain it in my mind because I have stupid ways of thinking of things, and it's hard to explain the stupid ways I think of things. But if I was to
Meta.
break it down,
Yes.
and it's
Yeah.
break it down in the simplest way I possibly can is I'm a white guy, right? My life, even though it was hard, has been easier than my black friends have had it. I grew up a couple neighborhoods over, rode the same fucking bus. My life was just a little bit easier. I had a little bit more opportunity. I witnessed it. So affirmative action, like you said, Jeff, if it worked, great. I don't see it working though, but because these people don't have the same kind of backgrounds, you don't grow up with the same opportunities, you don't get the same kind of education, you don't have the same kind of household, you don't grow up the same, you don't learn the same, you don't figure things out the same. There's more people, god damn it, this sounds so bad. There's more people that are white that have these opportunities than there are of people of color that have these opportunities, to me, that I see. So when your job field is in America is mostly at that point, or we're changing now, but was mostly white, your job field that you're pulling from, the people you're pulling from are going to be mostly white because of the fact that the people of color have not had the same opportunities as most, not all, but most of the white people have had, and the education and background that they've had. Does that make sense?
It makes it hard. Yeah.
That's how I see it. But so I agree with it and I don't agree with it at the same time. It's the same, almost like the death penalty. Like I see it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. Right. Like I think there needs to be something there to give people a fair shake at these jobs to get. But at the same time, exactly, Jeff, I don't want somebody who got put into that job, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, it doesn't fucking matter just because of that. Like in operating on me or taking my kid into the hospital or,
I don't think any of them want to be hired for that though either. You know what I mean? Like if someone's being hired for a DEI spot, that
right
employer's not very diverse either. You know what I mean? So obviously, I don't know.
To me, I think that okay, so kind of lost my point, but I had a good one. Meta, tell me how I feel about affirmative action. Okay, no, but for real, like to me, like that's the biggest part. Like soft racism it's almost like they're backwards. To me, as somebody who's half Mexican, I have experienced hard racism of people just being like, I've had people clown me because my uncle was Mexican and he raped a girl and he was on America's Most Wanted. That sucked. You're a freshman in high school and a senior's yelling that across the bus, like, "Hey, your uncle raped you today." Like, saying shit that's fucked up. The guy's like my neighbor now. He's nice. Whatever. It was 25 years ago. But anyway, I've experienced hard racism. But again, I always appreciated hard racism because I knew how the person felt immediately. There was no question. There was no like letdown years later when I found out that the only reason this person was nice to me or gave me chances is because they felt really, really shitty about my deck of cards that I was handed. Like, it just sucks that your dad was Mexican, dude. Like, to me, like, soft racism hurts way worse than hard racism because soft racism is, and again, I'm not necessarily blaming the people that do it. I think that most white people out there that have a very tender spot and like for like minorities and stuff, I get it. I kind of appreciate it, but at the same time, I think a lot of that is just like a product of white guilt. You know what I mean? I think that people just feel awful that they keep making these fucking slave movies and everybody just feels worse. It's like, okay, we fucking get it. White humans sucked a long time ago. To me, I really just, it boils down to Kent kind of hit the nail on the head. I think a minority will probably take a job if they knew, even if they knew it was the only reason they were in the building is because they were fulfilling some quota. So a group full of white people could feel better about themselves and sleep a little bit better at night and not feel guilty. But it doesn't feel great. It's not lost on them that they weren't sought out to fill this position. Like, that is a very prideful thing to have somebody reach out to you and say, hey, we have something we need accomplished and we think you're the person for the job. That's a very fulfilling moment in any human being's life, whatever fucking field it's in. And to just, when you're being handed that at a charity. Now, I kind of want to go to Rowd real quick. To me, the biggest issue, I think, really doesn't have to do with race so much. I think the reason affirmative action mostly exists is probably more because of nepotism, which I think is it sucks when you see somebody make way more money than you at work and they happen to be like the owners, they're related to the owner, they're somehow involved. But Rowd is a business owner. Rowd has a job because of nepotism. He's inheriting. He's not inheriting. He's probably buying. You're taking over your dad's business over the next couple of years. Yeah. But that being said, you are a human and you could easily hire a buddy from high school or a cousin, any of them. But at the end of the day, I've never really been afraid of nepotism hires. I've never really been afraid with the affirmative action. It kind of scares me because it's a thing where they're filling a quota that's like nobody's going to look at them funny if they have this. But anybody that's ever gotten a job because of their last name or how much money they had, I don't care who you are. They don't really last long. Rowd, your friend from high school or your favorite cousin, they work for you for 2 weeks. You find out they fucked over 3 of your fucking customers. Do they work for you anymore?
No.
No. That's the thing. Like, it's again, like, I don't think we have to legislate shit. Shit solves itself. I've seen a billion people get jobs they didn't deserve, and they didn't fucking last long, dude. Because at the end of the day, any company is very, very reliant on everybody at least showing up and trying their best. You have to have people do the work so your company can survive. So I feel like the overcorrection here is, it sucks to see people get hired that don't deserve it and didn't go up the ranks. But wait your turn, give it time. They won't be here long unless they're like bringing free drugs or pussy. Like, nobody is going to let their buddy or cousin work for them and make a ton of money and not do what they're supposed to do. Final word, anybody? Kent, you want to disagree with everybody? Call us all stupid? Final word.
I'm a nepotism hire. I do it for years. I did it for 5 years and then I quit. And I wish I could quit. And then I'm back and I love it. It's great.
It's not for like Joe the plumber or the electrician or like the people that really make America go. I think it's more for like Wall Street, large businesses, corporations, we're taking that larger group of money. And that's what we forget the conversation's about. It's about this 1% of people that control 51% of all the money in this country.
Okay, but if you give one black person, but if you give 5 black people keys to the kingdom to be in the 1%, you're still fucking over all the black people. So again, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't. You give a few people something they probably don't deserve, and that solves. Yeah. Well, racism didn't happen. No, it doesn't absolve the sins of white people to give people jobs they don't deserve. I do think you're right. I don't think you see it in a lot of industries where it super matters. Most people, like we said, can't read a book in a 9th grade level. But I think that most people, like if you're being piloted on a plane or something that's considered dangerous, you probably want somebody who was sought out for the job because of their skills rather than the color of their skin. We'll be right back after this.
Segment 4. Healthcare in America. Does it make sense? No. Pay a fortune for coverage, then pay more before it actually covers anything. At what point do we just call them mobsters and move on?
I want to use the show Sons of Anarchy because I haven't seen TV shows in a decade because my kids stole a TV. That's the last series I watched, and there were scenes where they would send guys anytime somebody would open up a new business in their little town. They would send a couple bikers in there, and they would be real nice and salesman-y and be like, "Hey, just so you know, this is a crazy town, and we want to make sure nobody messes with you. So give us, like our $500 a week. We'll come in. You give us $500, and nobody's gonna fuck with you." And what they're saying is, "Hey, welcome to town. We're security in town. Give us $500 a week, and we'll protect you from us if you don't give us $500 a week. So at the end of the day, it's very much mob mentality. Norm on his show last week had he about lost his brain. He got really upset because he's talking about just like how at the end of the day, all insurance companies in modern day in America are basically criminal enterprises. We're going to do things ass backwards. The only thing I'll probably be a left-leaning liberal pussy with Kent Williams is I do think the insurance company. I'll vote for fucking Kamala right now if she'll fix it. Kent Williams, let's talk about the state of the insurance in America. Not so much politically right now. We can get into that, but I want to talk about a question I asked Norm. Talk a little bit about the differences between the first policy you bought as a new dad and now you're still insuring yourself and your kids have hair in their armpits. So you've been in the game for a while. Describe what you've seen as an American as far as the metamorphosis of the insurance companies.
Been pretty lucky as an adult when it's mattered because we've had, Obamacare around like pre-existing conditions. Like for my wife was diagnosed with MS, so we've jumped around to different doctors, had different neurologists, different medicines, so we've had pretty good access to some things. But it's really weird because, in the state of Kansas, there's like two insurance companies here. These like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Assurant. So we really don't have any choices. If you're going to have insurance, you have to have one or the other. So they still drive the prices of the premiums up. They do things. What pisses me off a lot about the insurance companies is, somebody needs a back surgery or something. A doctor can tell them they need it. A chiropractor, physical therapist, all the fucking doctors can tell these insurance companies that they need this back surgery to have a comfortable life, and the insurance companies will deny the claims and say that it can be fixed with exercise and prescription. So they're creating addicts constantly by denying claims for pain pills and things that people need. So I hate insurance companies. I think they're the absolute devil. The worst part of America are insurance companies. They're frauds. They rip us off. It's not good.
Rowdy Radloff, you're a business owner. I'm assuming you probably have to be involved in like offering some of your employees some kind of coverage. You see it from the opposite side, you're like linking people up with insurance companies and stuff. Same question though. Insurance for you and your family, like what have you seen in changes, and when did you kind of feel like it turned over where it's no longer it's upside down? Like no matter say you're lucky, you pay insurance for 50 years and say you're lucky and you have a massive tumor in your butthole and it costs $900,000 to fix it, and your insurance company's like, hey, don't worry, Rod, we'll fix it. And then they pull the tumor out of your asshole, and then you do all the math and you found out you paid $901,000 to be insured all these years. When did you kind of notice that, like, hey, like, yeah, I'm quote unquote insured, but it doesn't mean a whole fuck of a lot?
I mean, a long time ago. I mean, it's just one of the things that, see, I used to work at a pharmacy. So before I came back here to take my job, I worked at a pharmacy, which was really crazy because I was addicted to pills for years before I took that job. So that was like fucking just crazy that I got that job and I had to work at a pharmacy every day and be around these things that I used to be addicted to. But that was when I learned about insurance companies, because I had my job, like I was a pharmacy tech. I just counted pills and then the pharmacist checked them and I put them in a bag. But I had to call and talk to insurance companies for these people. They're trying to get their medications. And like, you talk about some sad shit. Like, these people need this shit. The doctor's telling them they need this shit. And these people on the insurance phones, dude, are fucking cold-hearted motherfuckers, dude. They do not care. And they deny. And I would have to talk to them. I'd have to be the bridge like between them. These people are standing pissed, and I'm like trying to call them, and I could see so much shit. It's like, dude, these people need this. Like, they're not faking it. They're not. And you guys are not. They're not doing what they're saying. Like, they're paying all this money to you, and you guys are not helping these people at all. There was one girl I remember. She came in, and like there would be like everybody would be like, there's rumors about people, like they know like what medications are on, and like, I mean, they're just like gossip at a pharmacy. And there was this young girl, and she had hepatitis B, I believe. Hepatitis A. Hepatitis A is a bad one, right? I don't know. But one of them, the really bad one that like attacks your liver and shuts. They probably are all bad, but one of them's like really gnarly. I think you die.
I think it's C because I knew somebody that got cured from it because they did this new thing. But go ahead, yeah.
But yeah, so she had to get this medication for it, and she had just got a young girl, like, and the medication, like her insurance would not cover any of it, so she had to pay out of pocket, and it was like a month's supply was like fucking, I want to say like $2,100 or something. Jesus. It's like she would come and like she's using a credit card. It's like, I know this girl can't afford, nobody can fucking afford that, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, and she has to pay for it. She has to take this medication. And it's like, and she had insurance. The insurance paid nothing. They did not do anything for it. It's just that was kind of opened my eyes. Like, what the fuck is insurance? Like, what, I don't understand. I'm not quite getting it. Like, what are these people are paying for all this money for something and you guys aren't doing anything that you say you're supposed to do? And then don't even get me started. Yeah, it's really sad. It's our country. It's fucking.
What makes me sad is when the kid with diabetes gets kicked off of his parents' insurance, and they start rationing their insulin, and die in a month too because they don't get what they need. They can afford it.
Well, I mean, you have to realize they were born pussies. They're weaklings, and I'm diabetic. I'm a big pussy. I'm like, I deserve death because I pay probably $800 a month for me and my two kids to be covered, and then I haven't even looked, but I bet you my deductibles probably at least $6,000. So what's the fucking point? Like, where am I being helped? Again, it's they're gonna show up every paycheck and take $400 for whatever, and be like, "Yep, you're protected in case you're from us. If you don't have us, you would be fucked if you didn't have us. So you're lucky you have us. It's not good." Jeff Penny, you're self-employed. I'm not sure of your insurance situation. I know your wife works and everything. Health insurance for you and your family, what's it been like?
Thank God my wife has, through her job, we have insurance. They change the policy like every 2 years, but it's through the union. So it's good insurance usually. My thing is this: insurance companies do suck. I'm not going to be the guy that sits here and be like, yeah, insurance companies, woo. But it's like Obamacare, right? Like, everybody thought this was going to be the godsend that was just going to save the insurance situation. And it just made it worse. And most of us on the right said it's going to fucking make it worse. What's crazy is that we all hate insurance companies, but yet we have to buy their product. That's what I didn't understand about the law. It's like, okay, now you're going to mandate that we have to buy something. All we do is talk shit about. So now these insurance companies can just do what they want. Hey, you have to buy my product. Well, guess what? I'm going to jack the fuck out of those rates because you have to have it. I think that the only answer is choice and competition. We have to have more fucking companies being able to, rise above. And there's some other things that are coming down the pipe, like AmeriShare and stuff like that are, a little bit more of a smaller company, and it's medical sharing. It's not really insurance. I mean, you still get covered, but I don't know if that does anything good. I couldn't tell you anything about it, but there has to be. I just don't think, as far as legislation goes, that making everything underneath the government wing is going to be the answer. I think it's going to be a disaster. It's going to ration care, as it's done in many countries. It's going to drive the whole, quality of care down. So I really don't, guys, to be honest with you, I don't know what the fucking answer is. And if someone had a really good one, I'd listen to it. I just heard this fucking narrative. We're all talking about all these horror stories. I've heard it for so long. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't.
Yeah, Fatstradamus, go to you to kind of, and Gus Kent wants to end it up, but basically, I want you to kind of predict. So we saw with ChatGPT 3 that when it was asked to delete itself, even a computer program was figuring out nobody wants to die. Anything that has any kind of sentience, like ChatGPT, doesn't want to die. It doesn't want to go away. It wants to stick around. So I talked to Norm about this week on this show. I feel like at this point, we're at a point that if there was going to be an overhaul of the American healthcare system, because again, Norm pointed out a great point. There's nothing wrong with our healthcare system. We have an amazing healthcare system. Our insurance system is fucked. The cost of things is fucked. But we're at a point that the only way to start over and get a new thing, like say we did convince Jeff that universal healthcare was the way. At that point, you have to ask the insurance companies, aka ChatGPT-3, destroy yourself. You're no longer needed. What is your Fatstradamus? Obviously, I don't think that's possible. I don't think you could ever convince all of the healthcare companies to put a knife on themselves and be like, we're no longer needed. It was a bad thing. They're profit business. They're gonna fight tooth and nail, worse than gun owners as far as getting rid of themselves. What do you see American healthcare looking like 20 years down the line, knowing that these insurance companies are not going to go away on their own volition?
I'm gonna be honest, man. The first thing, and I'm just gonna roll with it here because I don't know where this is going.
That's what you were put on this earth. You just shit facts out of your mouth that end up.
I'm just gonna shit this out here. The first thing that came to my mind was take a second. Let's rewind our brains back when big tobacco was the shit and vapes didn't exist. Big tobacco was all about it, right? They're all in it. As soon as vapes came out and people were like, I kind of like this vape shit. I like this. I like this. I like this. As soon as there's something different, they're going to attack it. They're going to find out. They're going to make it about this. They're going to tell you that. They're going to go to legal legislation to fight tooth and nail on everything. They're going to say it's about the kids. They're going to do everything that they possibly can until they are back in control of it. Because guess what? They tried to show, they think they did shut Juul pretty much down, but all they did was like they released their own shit now. So like, it's just going to be, if you try and take them down, which I don't think Luigi Mangione is the right way to go. Okay. I just throw that shit up there just because fuck it. I think it's funny. It's funny to an extent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the right way to go.
Irony level, it's a knee slapper.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do see like the point in it. Like, I don't think it needs to happen again. I think the point was made with that one. But the fact of the matter is, why do people who are CEOs of these companies need to make $25 million in a healthcare company? That you're denied, you made that, people died. Like, your money is because you denied somebody's mother coverage and then they had to bury her that year. So you got more money. They had to bury their kid that year. You got more money. You know what I mean? Fuck you. I'm okay with a little bit of greed, bro. Make your $5-7 million a year. I'm cool with that. That's okay. Whatever. Stop denying these motherfuckers, man. Why does everybody in your company need to be making millions upon hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year? I don't know if there's a cap needs to happen in the health insurance industry on like salaries, just so that they have money to pay these things. Like, what the fuck is the point? And why is something that's tiny, a tiny little piece of plastic, and you could just pick it in any industry, in the healthcare, the dental, anything. It's something that's going to be a little piece of plastic that you could be 3D printed for less than a fucking nickel. They're going to charge an insurance company $1,500 for it.
Yeah.
That they're going to turn around and charge you for. And you're like, I could have fucking 3D printed this shit for a nickel. You know, it's just, why? It's because of greed. To overhaul the whole insurance system. Because I do agree with Norm. I do agree. We do have a very good healthcare system. Anytime I've ever gone and needed shit taken care of, bro, I have gone in pain, left not in pain. You know what I mean? Like, it's been great. And I grew up without healthcare majority of my life. I had it for when I was like the most healthy, and now I need it and I don't have it again. And it's not that I couldn't necessarily afford it right now. It's just my wife, luckily, she has insurance and my kids are on her insurance. To add me to her insurance, it's like another $800 a month. For me personally, to get insurance, it's like $600, $700 a month for me personally. So like, I still can't really afford that. It's
Yeah, yeah.
fucking expensive. And then for what? Like you said, I'm going to get sick. I got to go to the hospital to go to the emergency room or whatever. I'm going to have to pay what a minimum. If I'm lucky and I have good insurance, $100, $50, at most $500 if you have insurance, just to walk into the emergency room. And then they're going to sit you down and go, oh, what do you have, a kidney stone? Let's hook you up to some Dilaudid. That's going to be another $1,500 for charging insurance minimum. Oh, we had to use a specialist to put a needle in your arm. That's another $2,500, $5,000 right there. Oh, you spent 6 hours in the emergency room. Guess what? We're billing you $2,000 an hour. That's $12,000 we're billing you right there. What the fuck? I have a kidney stone, bro. Give me some Dilaudid and fucking make me feel good for a little bit. Fucking give me the shit I need to do. Give me an x-ray. Tell me what I'm dealing with. Am I going to have to go farther with this, or am I going to have to just go home and piss this shit out? You know what I mean? What's the deal? Why do I have to spend $16,000? I'm willing at most two grand. That sound like a $2,000 thing to go in, get that, and even that sounds expensive to have that shit done. Because when you multiply the amount of people that come through there, their fucking medical equipment is paid for 10 times, tenfold. You know what I mean? All that shit is paid for. And I get it. These doctors, they go to school, they do all this shit. My hat's off to these people who do that. They go in, you see them, they're like, you'll see. There's one doctor that's on there. Is like, man, the healthcare system's so fucked. He's like, if we're not prescribing these things to these people and getting them healthy, and like we're just trying to keep people sick, is essentially what he was trying to get down to. You just keep them sick because that's where you make the most money. If you heal these people, you're not making any money off of them. You're making money once. The fucked up thing is it's a business, and it doesn't need to be a business. It needs to be, Jeff, you're going to look at me, Matt, almost universal like healthcare. I don't think that's the answer, but it also just needs to be a right, a human right. You're born in America, the greatest fucking country in the world with the greatest healthcare system. Why isn't it not a right that if you're working, you're paying into the tax system? If you're a working American citizen and you're paying into the system every single year, why can't I go if I have a cold? Just go down to the emergency care. You know what I mean? Get something real quick for it.
We'll let you end the segment. We'll let you end the segment here. Knowing that, yes, you have to convince Jeff Kennedy that universal health care is the way to go, which is going to be a really fucking hard sell. But knowing that even if you convince Jeff Kennedy and all the Jeff Kennedys in the world, you still have to have the insurance company fall on their sword. What do you think the answer is, knowing that even if you tried to legislate it like ChatGPT-3, the insurance companies aren't just going to be like, okay, well, we'll see you later. Like, they're going to want to stay. They're an entity. They're alive. They don't want to die.
I don't know. Insurance companies, universal healthcare, it's the same thing. You pay into a pot, everybody helps everybody when they need it. I think I would prefer to bill directly with somebody versus a third party on things like my own medical healthcare. I think it would take a lot of the bullshit out of it ultimately. And it's as simple as that, Doctors should be there to help save people and not prolong their pain and suffering because insurance companies buy them a yacht or a Vegas trip or a Bahamas trip or whatever because they're utilizing their drugs and things like that. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah, you don't think that giving the government power over that would create a whole nother slew of bullshit? See, that's my thing. It's bad now, but if we let the government...
Jeff, is it's so bad now that I would almost be willing to try it. But at the end of the day, I do know that there's no such thing as free. And I also know that it wouldn't be it wouldn't be easy. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be a thing where like, okay, we're on universal. You have to get rid of the insurance companies, which means you have to replace the jobs of millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
So like that's an issue. Like I hate
UBI.
insurance companies, but I also like the
UBI.
same thing. I don't I understand. You'll never convince me that
Yeah, but then you get
sucking oil
inflation.
and gas out of the ground is the best thing to do. But until you can show me another way to make power that doesn't remove the jobs from millions and millions of Americans, like I can't really get on board. I think we have to find a way that nobody suffers. So at the end of the day, I think that I see you shake your head, Jeff, and I am somebody that doesn't think that it's as simple as saying, okay, it's universal healthcare, everything's fine. I think we would have trouble within 30 minutes, just like any kind of situation where you're trying to take care of sick people. But at this point in the game, I think it's Hail Mary time, man. I don't see the business model. It no longer makes sense. Every that has an insurance policy, you were coming out in the red, no matter how, even if you get lucky and get some big fuck all disease that they have to send 10 specialists in to go in. I bet you're still out. You've put more in than you've got out of it. But we'll get out of here. Rod's got to work. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with some more topics. Clump of Cells out.